Hold pa naman ba?
Nakalive na ba to?
Ah, nakalive na. Share ko na lang.
Hindi pa nag-reload sa akin. Wait lang. Sige, share ko lang din.
Sige. Hindi ko nag-spot.
Natry ko siyang i-stream eh. Hindi ko siya mapanood eh. Natry ko siyang i-stream. Pwede ko na i-close to, ano, yung multi-view.
Okay.
Hindi ko siya ma-play. Wait lang. Wala pa naman tao eh. Ayaw niya ma-play. Nagpe-play sa'yo?
Oo, naka-play sa...
Kita mo na yung screen, yung Docker.
Hindi. Nandun ko sa signal, yung Docker. Yung nandito lang yung production container. Check mo yung signal. Dapat nandun ko sa signal.
Nilagay ko na yung Sina Live. Ayaw mag-launch.
Delay yun na, hindi yung direction na ano.
Oo.
Delay yun ng mga 5 na ganyan, 5 seconds o 10 seconds minsan. Nakita ko na.
Piniplay ko siya doon sa iPad para kita ko pag may something.
Marami pa.
Diyan ba si CJ? Ano? Ha?
Nakita ko ang screen mo.
Oo. Kinlose ko naman na yung ibang bagay. Sige, start na tayo.
Sige,
Recorded naman to eh.
I-cut ko na lang yung mga lamin.
Okay. So, start tayo with Docker, an introduction. So, if you guys have been in web development, regardless of whether you're a dev, a QA, a systems admin, or a project manager, you've probably heard of this thing called Docker and containers. Introduction. So, if you guys have been in web development, yan. So, before I start my this presentation, I'll just introduce myself. I'm Mark. I have been working as a web developer and I transitioned to DevOps for the last year or so. I have been in the web development industry for about 9 years and I like learning new things and teaching them to my teammates. Hence this presentation. And so, for other things related to work that I write, you can check my blog, pero I think naka-down to ngayon kasi may ginagawa ako dyan kanina. Ayusin ko yan after. And then, if hindi kayo makapag-iwan ng questions or something dun sa live, PM nyo lang ako sa LinkedIn. Nag-respond naman ako dun. I always check that. Okay. So, first and foremost, what is this presentation about? So, I'll tackle briefly on sino yung mga pwedeng gumamit kay Docker, sino yung mga pinaka magbe-benefit sa kanya, ano ba si Docker, and a short, very very short introduction to containerization. So, if you have been in software development for maybe more than 10 years now or around 10 years, there's a chance that you've started your career na hindi pa uso yung containers na yan. More like virtual machines lang or bare metal yung ginagamit noon. And then, of course, if gagamit tayo ng bagong tool, yung mga gusto nating malaman lagi is, what can this new shiny tool do for me? So, try natin explain kung ano yung mga pwedeng gawin ni Docker for us. And yung mga pwede niyang palitan sa current workload natin if hindi pa tayo nagko-containers. And then, some more concepts that you need to know to jumpstart your usage of Docker and containers. I won't go in depth dito sa mga concepts na to. Pero i-bring up lang natin sila para pag na-encounter nyo sila sa malawak na internet. Related yan kay Docker. Ganon. And then, if time permits, we'll try to do a very very small live demo with Docker. Since yung context nitong programming live stream na page is, we'll start with PHP, then let's start with a simple PHP app that will be run using Docker. And then some additional tools and resources that you can use to further grow your knowledge and usage with Docker and containers. Okay, so what this presentation is not? Well, obviously, this is just a 1 hour or so presentation. This will not make you an expert, but this will give you enough, maybe, so that you can search the internet later and start being a Docker expert on your own. And then, as with any tool out there, nothing beats reading the official documentation. Their documentation is actually quite good. So if you just spend time and read everything, like if you're a web developer and you'll be starting with Docker, I can guarantee you that if you read every documentation and guide on Docker here, pwede nyo abutan yung Docker and container knowledge ng ibang devs na siguro ilang taon nang nagda-Docker pero hindi talaga nila binabasa yung documentation, more on as you go experience lang. Well, I cannot deny, maraming gumagawa nun. Minsan, ganun din ako. Pero, yung sa mga masipag magbasa dyan, find the docs, read them. Sobrang bilis nyo makakahabol ng learning. And then, who this presentation is for? So, ito para context lang. That I'm thinking of this specific personas as I create this presentation. Ngayon, if you're not belonging to any of this group. Maybe may gamit pa rin si Docker sa inyo pero hindi ko sila ma-highlight dito sa presentation. If you have a good use case, maybe you can reach out to us, post on our page, then update natin yung slides para mas maraming makagamit sa future. Okay, so what is Docker? Ito usually ginagawa ko kapag may bago akong inaaral na tool. Dumidiretso ako sa, or concept, dumidiretso ako sa Wikipedia. Usually may good definition doon. So, reading from this, Docker is a set of platform as a service product, blah 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 blah. Masyado mahaba. So, next slide tayo. Next slide tayo. Yung same from Wikipedia na definition, highlight ko lang yung mga, I think, important things. Docker is a operating system level virtualization that you can use to run your software as containers. Now, with containers, your applications are isolated from one another and bundle their own software, libraries, and config files. And then, these containers are run by a single operating system kernel and therefore use fewer resources than virtual machines. And this will kind of make sense if you have been using VMs before. Like, if nag-try na kayo mag-VirtualBox or VMware sa laptop nyo, kung 8GB laptop lang yan, well, maybe you can run 2, 3, 4. Baka naghihingalo na yung laptop by that time. So makikita nyo talaga yung bigat ng virtual machines kasi sa OS level virtualizations like VMs, meron ka ng Windows dun sa laptop mo, tapos on top of that, mag-install ka pa ng VirtualBox or VMware, tapos on top of that, tsaka ka mag-load ng another guest operating system. Usually, Ubuntu or other Linux variants, minsan Windows. So, meron kang full operating system on top of a full operating system. And every layer, syempre, it's CPU, it's memory. So, konti yung mga pwede mong ispawn na VM sa laptop compared sa containers. Yung containers, ginagamit nila yung files and software din sa operating system mo. So if you're running Windows or you're running Linux or say Ubuntu, nakakabit doon directly yung mga containers. So mas less resources yung kinakain. So meaning it works like a VM but you can run more. And since containers are defined like from text files, mas portable sila. So you can have just 3 text files compared to a 3 text file, less than 1 MB lang yun minsan compared to a VM. For example, meron kang Ubuntu VM na wala pang software, bare Ubuntu lang. It starts at maybe 2 gig na kagad. Kung kailangan mo i-file transfer yung VirtualBox mo from one laptop to another, mabagal. Compared to containers, text files lang. So, madali siyang ilipat, portable, and madali i-backup. And then since text file siya, pwede natin siyang ilagay sa version control like Git. Yun again, if medyo alien pa rin yung ibang definition and you'd like to learn more, a little bit more explanation, feel free to reach out. We can create a new presentation naman kung may specific person na kayo na gusto nating pagpresentan if you have a small group or a small team and you want to get started with Docker, you can reach us. We like doing presentations. Okay. So on older setups where there is no virtualization, you just have your hardware, most of the time your PC, or it's a server on the cloud, kunyari sa Rackspace, DigitalOcean, ganyan, and it has an operating system. If server yan, normally Linux yan. And then dun sa operating systems, may mga binaries, may mga libraries, and then mag-install tayo ng applications dun. Well, there's no isolation for your apps kasi magkakasama sila sa isang operating system. Ngayon, yung pinaka-limit natin dito is that sometimes you'd like to deploy different apps on that server. Kaso may conflict sila. Kasi for example, meron kayong web application 1, gumagamit siya ng PHP 7.2. Meron kayong web application 2, gumagamit siya ng Java 8 or something. Yung app 3 natin, pwedeng gumagamit ng Python. Tapos yung mga applications natin, may mga dependencies pa yan. Minsan may mga Linux dependencies silang shared, that works. Minsan meron silang shared dependencies pero magkakaiba ng versions, dun nagko-conflict. Kapag na-hit mo yung mga limit na yon, it means, well, hindi mo pwedeng install yung magkakasabay yung some specific applications on the same server. Medyo hassle yun kasi syempre gastos, mag-provision kayo kagad ng another server. Kung kahit hindi nyo pa naman napupuno yung isang server nyo, kunyari bumili yung company nyo in-house ng malaking servers, 8 cores, 32 gigs of RAM, tapos dalawang web application lang yung pinapatakbo ng company nyo, nagkataon na may conflict, medyo patay na. If you don't know how to do virtualization like this, bare metal, either you get a new server or you learn virtualization. So medyo mababa mileage natin pag walang virtualization. With virtualization naman, we have two types pa. Hardware level and OS level. Ngayon, normally, ang progression is no virtualization, then hardware level virtualization. Ay, mali. Ma-edit lang ako. Ayan. Oops. Ay. Ayan tayo po. Ayan. Ngayon, on hardware level virtualization, ito yung ginagawa ng mga network operation engineers at ng ilang systems admin. On top of the physical hardware, nag-install sila ng hypervisor. So, it's an operating system, pero it doesn't serve desktop applications like Windows. What it serves is virtual machines. So, on top of hypervisor, you can launch guest operating systems like Linux, like multiple Linux boxes or multiple Windows boxes. Advantage niya over Windows, it's designed for creating VMs. So, mas less yung resource overhead niya. Basically, mas okay siya kung pure virtual machines lang yung gagawin dun sa physical hardware. And then, on top of the guest OS, dun na lang nag-a-apply yung limitations ng bare metal. So, within this guest OS, may binaries and libraries, and then may app. And then again, if you meron kang isa pang app na gusto mong ilagay sa guest OS na yan, yung success mo would depend if yung app 1 and app 2 walang conflicting dependencies. So, kaya if meron, you would instead of getting a new server, magpo-provision ka na lang ng new virtual machine like this. And then if may third application ka pa, gusto mo isolated, you create a new guest operating system. But still, meron kang 3 apps, and then meron ka na kagad 3 operating systems. So, kung Windows yan, ilan na bang idle memory kinakain ni Windows? Sabihin natin, 1 gig of RAM yung kinakain ni Windows at idle. So, that's 1 gig, 3 gigs of RAM kaagad lost to the guest OS. Instead na nagagamit siya ng applications mo. Whereas, on OS level virtualization, where Docker belongs, it just runs on top of your existing operating system. So, from the physical hardware, meron kang OS like Linux or Windows, and then you run the container engine on top of that. For this demo, yung container engine natin is Docker. So, for containerization, hindi lang naman si Docker yung gumagawa niyan. May ibang competitor siya. Actually, for Red Hat, in-embrace na nila yung isa, si Podman. I haven't checked news yet, pero baka moving forward, si Podman na yung i-bundle nila. Tapos, si Podman na yung default container tool nila. And then there's also Builda. There's something else. Nakalimutan ko na lang i-list dito. But back to the presentation. So meron ka ng container engine, say Docker, on top of your OS. And then you can launch your applications directly on your operating system. So kung itong operating system na to uses 1 GB of RAM at idle, yun lang yung nako-consume niya. Yung ibang CPU and memory mo, pwede mo nang i-spend dun sa applications. Pero yan, isolated yan. Kasi they run in their closed space called containers. So no more need to worry kung may conflict sila sa dependencies kasi for example, kay application 1 you can install PHP 7, kay application 2 you can install PHP 7.4, kay application 3 you can install PHP 5 kung merong super luma not recommended legacy application pa kayo na nagra-run. And then hindi yun magko-conflict kahit magkakaibang version sila kasi they're isolated thanks to containers. Then, what can Docker do for you? Well, as a developer, minsan when we're trying out new things, medyo hassle na install ng kung ano sa laptop. Like, the first time I tried to learn Apache, like 9 years ago, I installed Apache, I did it work. I tried WAMP. Hindi ko rin siya nagustuhan, hindi ko na malala kung bakit. And then I used SAMP. And then later on, may mga bagay na kay SAMP na hindi gumagana kasi may mga previously ako na-install na nagko-conflict. So, kailangan ko pa siyang linisin para gumana. So, with Docker, you can test different things like pwede ka mag-test ng web servers, pwede ka mag-test ng different versions ng Apache, ng Nginx without messing up software installed on your laptop or desktop. So this makes changing development environments fast or prototyping or creating POCs or proof of concepts. Yeah, and then you can also test your apps on different versions of, sabi natin, on different types of server without messing up your PC or laptop. So if meron kang PHP app or Laravel, it currently runs on PHP 7.2, madali lang siyang i-test using an updated version like 7.3, 7.4, 7.5, and then kapag di na siya gumana, madali siya ibalik without having to install stuff on your computer or changing your source code. Pero syempre, gusto mo talagang i-push na kunyari tumakbo sa PHP 7.4 yung app mo, may mga bagay kang kailangan i-recode ng konti depending kung ano yung breaking changes with that language, PHP. And then as a developer, once na done na yung code, you can package it so it can be deployed to production as is and it will always work. Dati kasi nung hindi pa uso si Docker, what we do, well, umabot ako sa time na zinizip lang namin yung code, binibigay dun sa release engineer, tapos siya magde-deploy sa prod. Syempre, manual effort, may nakakalimutan, minsan yung sysadd, may hindi na-install sa production, kunyari, gumamit tayo ng bagong extension, PHP GD, PHP MB string, tapos hindi siya na-install sa production, so magra-run siya sa laptop mo, kasi running na dun yung extension, pero nakalimutan mong banggitin dun sa sysadd na kailangan yon. So magkakaroon tayo ng production defect kung wala tayong proper QA process. Now with Docker, nandun yung code mo, nandun yung mga extensions na kailangan mo. Pag tumakbo siya sa machine mo, sa yung computer, PC, desktop, pag binigay mo siya sa release engineers, ira-run nila, tatakbo yon as is. And then, if kaya mong i-redeploy yung software sa production, kaya mo din siya i-redeploy sa PC ng iba para mapadali yung onboarding natin ng new team members. Dati, I experience na meron kaming software, minsan inaabot ng 1 linggo para lang mapagana yung development environment kasi walang readmes, wala pang konsepto ng documentation, walang VMs, as in, kukunin mo yung code, tapos install mo everything on your laptop, tapos pagandahan na lang ng notes kung sino yung makakatanda kung ano yung mga ini-install dun sa desktop kapag i-deploy mo yung application. So minsan magsusulisit ka pa dun sa katabi mo, pre, ano nga ba yung pang-install na ito? But if you have Docker, of course, documentation on how to run that Docker file on day 1, pwedeng running na kagad yung development environment nung new hires nyo. So, makakapag-contribute na kagad sila. So, less time onboarding, less time worrying about paano ba i-deploy itong app, and more time learning it or modifying it. And as a systems administrator, if binigay sa'yo ng mga programmers yung Docker image, you can now easily test on a non-production server. With help of QAs or developers, maggawa kayo ng staging server, i-deploy nyo doon yung app, madali na siyang i-deploy kasi full package na siya, software dependencies, before nyo siya i-deploy to prod. And that lessens our chances of having production bugs. Na, well, yun naman yung target ng lahat. Walang bugs. Kapag wala ka kasing automation, wala kang Docker, wala kang containers, wala kang package, minsan kapag pinapatest mo yung app, tapos hindi rin naman 1:1 or perfect clone yung staging server sa production server, most of the time, forgo na lang kasi i-reason out na ay, hindi naman sila same eh. So, kahit tumakbo yan sa staging, baka hindi tumakbo sa prod. Sayang effort, wag na lang. But with Docker, it runs on development, it will run in staging, it will run in prod. So, pag naalis natin yung fear na yon at yung distrust na hindi rin naman sila same kapag tumatakbo sa ibang environment, then we can expect better or more accurate pre-production tests before we hit production. And then, if masira man yung production server natin, minsan nangyayari yan, minsan fault ni VPS provider, minsan nagkakaroon sila ng maintenance, minsan nagkamali tayo ng ginawa, nawala natin yung SSH keys natin, hindi tayo makalogin. And we can easily deploy and redeploy the applications to other servers. Kasi package na siya. So, hindi na natin kailangan i-recall kung ano yung mga dependencies, yung mga extensions, and other stuff na kailangan ng app. Nandun na siya sa Docker image. So, mas mabilis mag-maintain ng server, mabilis mag-create ng bago using containers. Well, if you're just a techie hobbyist, medyo familiar ka sa Linux kasi you think it looks cool, then you can try out different tools or software, again, without messing up software on your computer. Sabi natin, hindi ka dev. Hindi ka naman gumagawa ng web apps. Pero, syempre, maybe you work in an office. Baka kailangan makita mo na yung concepts ng ticketing system. Gusto mo mag-introduce ng ticketing system sa office nyo, pero wala kayong devs doon kasi hindi naman kayo gumagawa ng software. Then you can use Docker to launch software na makakatulong sa office nyo. Parang POC lang. Or kung gusto mong gumawa ng mga servers mo sa bahay, or maybe file servers, media servers, you can run things with Docker. Yan. Ito, some other concepts that you need to know para when you encounter them on the internet, alam nyo related sila to Docker and containers. First is the Docker file. Then, images, containers, Docker Compose, and the Docker registry. And yung pinaka-popular na Docker registry is yung public version, which is Docker Hub. So, Docker file. Yung Docker file, it's just a text file. So, dito na yung nag-uumpisa yung containerization natin. So, imagine, So, from this point onwards, you will need at least basic Linux skills or know-how para mabasa mo kung ano yung nandito sa Docker files. Kasi they're essentially Linux terminal commands. But for starters, you can just get pre-made Docker files at GitHub and start tinkering from there. Doon ako nagsimula. Testing lang ng Docker file ng iba, edit kung kailangan ko until nasanay na ako mag-create ng Docker files ko from scratch. So, sa isang Docker file, you usually get a base image. For example, si PHP 7.2.19-fpm, this is a public image na available sa Docker Hub, yung na-mention ko kanina. yung tinatawag na Docker registry. Then on top of that PHP image, siset lang natin yung mga customizations na kailangan natin para dun sa application natin. Like, nag-install ako ng Git, nag-install ako ng Zip, nag-download ako ng Composer, then niran ko yung installer ni Composer since PHP app siya, nag-add ako ng mga database extensions, and then sa dulo, niran ko lang yung built-in server ni PHP. Itong sample Docker file na to is good enough for testing on a development environment, pero hopefully hindi nyo to gamitin sa prod kasi if you have high traffic in prod, you will greatly benefit with having a proper web server like Nginx and combine it with PHP FPM. So ito, kung nagpi-PHP kayo and you have been using the built-in web server to quickly prototype things without installing SAMP or WAMP, and ganun lang din siya. Yun na lang din muna ginamit ko para simple itong example. Docker file. So for example, meron tayong Docker file na ganito, and then dapat Docker file. So meron na tayong Docker file, yan. Pwede natin i-create yung image by using the docker build command. So ganito yung command na yun, docker build. Yung dot, nire-reference lang niya yung current directory. So if you have used Linux before, ano lang siya, referencing sa directory. And then -t is a shorthand for tags. It means gagawa tayo ng image, tapos papangalanan natin siyang PHP 7.2-app. So pag niran mo yan, on the same directory, kung nasan yung Docker file natin kanina, this one, mag-start na mag-create yung image. So you would see something like this. So Docker build and the tag name. Then Docker container. After you create a Docker image, yung Docker image para kasing blueprint yon. After you create the image, kailangan mo nang i-run yung application as a container. Kumbaga yung image parang flat lang yon. Yung container, siya na yung live application. And you can create a container using a Docker image. So from a Docker file, we create the image, and from the image, we will create a container. So kanina, we created an image named PHP 7.2-app. Ngayon naman, mag-create na tayo ng instance ng container. So, the command to use naman is docker run. And then you put a name. So, --name php-demo. -p, yung -p shorthand yan for ports. So, yung kung mapapansin nyo kasi, familiar kayo with PHP, nagra-run yung sinet ko dito na mag-run yung built-in web server on port 8080. Ngayon, so yung port 8080, running siya dun sa loob ng container, then i-expose ko lang siya dun sa host. Para from my browser, on my desktop, I can access that demo application. And then sa dulo, yung name nung image na gagamitin, which is yung PHP 7.2-app na kinrate natin kanina. So pag nirun ko na yan, I should see something like this. Yun na, nagra-run na yung web server. And then pag in-access ko yan sa browser ko, pag in-access ko yan sa browser ko, makikita ko na yung demo app. Okay. And then other commands that you might need. So at this point, ito na yung medyo end goal natin with a basic Docker container, mag-run ng application. So ito siya. So pag nag-docker ps ako or docker container ls, makikita ko yung mga running containers. So nakita ko dito na successfully running naman yung container and na-bind na siya to port 8080, which is this. So itong very simple standard hello world na to, wala naka-install na PHP. So balik muna tayo dun sa slides. Okay. Then some other commands that you might need. You can use docker image ls to view lahat ng existing images. Ito yung ginawa natin kanina, si PHP 7.2. And then we can use docker container ls to view running containers naman. Spelling ko. Docker container ls. Yan. Ngayon, if you put -a, makikita nyo lahat naman ng containers kahit yung mga nag-stop na. Yung mga tumatakbo nyo. Grafana, GitLab, Elasticsearch, Redis, blah, blah, blah. Ay. Okay. Ngayon, there's also this thing called Docker Compose. Docker Compose is another text file. It's actually optional but highly recommended. Para siyang text version ng Docker run na commands. Kasi itong babalikan natin dito, yung pag-launch ng container, medyo mahaba yung command. Well, yung iba, they take pride in being able to remember long commands like this. Pero for me, it's not a good practice kasi highly dependent siya dun sa memorization ability ng tao. This is not something na madaling ipasa. Parang, pre, paano nga i-run yung app? Pre, ganito, docker run, dash, blah, blah, blah. Masyado mahaba. You can write this in documentation. Pero kung since magra-write ka na rin lang, you write it in a Docker Compose YML. It's like an executable documentation. Yan exactly yung kailangan i-run, at ito na exactly yung gagamitin para i-run. So that's a legit concept, executable specification, runnable documentation. And also, kung mapapansin nyo dito, ito na yung Docker Compose version ng same Docker run command natin kanina. Nag-define tayo ng image na gagamitin, at nag-define tayo ng ports na kailangan i-bind. And then, pwede tayo mag-add ng iba pang containers sa isang Docker Compose file. Normally, ginugroup natin yung mga tinatawag na tech stack na magkakasama. So, it's often a web server plus database. So, sa case ko, PHP to. And then, kung gagamit na ako ng database, pwede ko nang gamitin tong container na nilaunch ko sa tabi niya. Now, pag nag-launch tayo ng different containers or applications within a Docker Compose YML, nagkakaroon sila ng parang private network. So, they can reach each other. Ngayon, yung host name nila, for example, from the PHP demo app container, para ma-access ko yung MySQL, I need to use the hostname database. And then, from the database container, if kailangan ko namang i-access for some weird reason yung URL ni PHP, the hostname would be php-demo-app. Okay. And again, good practice yung Docker Compose YML kasi text file siya and we can put it in version control like Git. So if may ganito yung itsura ng Docker Compose natin ngayon, lagyan natin sa Git. If 2 weeks later, dumami na yung containers na nila-launch dyan or iba na yung ports, na-update siya. Tapos nakikita natin yung history habang nagbabago yung Docker Compose. So kapag kailangan na siyang gamitin ng mga bagong team members, pwede nilang inspect yung Git history para makita nila kung paano nag-grow, nag-evolve yung application. Same with Systems Administrator. Kaya itong tool na to, this starts blurring the line between devs and system admins. Laking tulong nito para mag-launch yung DevOps na movement. Kasi yung devs, they can write infrastructure using Docker and Docker Compose. And kailangan na lang nilang humingi ng tulong sa sysads kung paano ba i-package properly yung application kasi from the Docker file, medyo Linux admin knowledge na yung kailangan natin. So, pag mag-build ng Docker file, a dev and a systems admin can sit together and work on there. So, natututo yung dev ng Linux kasi kasama niya yung sysad habang gumagawa ng Docker file. And then, yung sysad naman, mas naiintindihan niya kung paano exactly nag-work yung application. Kasi dino-document siya, and yung documentation na yun, ira-run. And then yung documentation, nakikreate habang kasama niya yung dev. And then, after that, pwede nyo na ilagay sa Git yung finished na Docker file and Docker Compose. So, pag meron ka na ng Docker Compose, again, it's just a command. Ngayon, ang command na lang na kailangan mo tandaan lagi is Docker Compose up -d. -d means like daemonize or put it in the background. Para always running na lang yung container. So, yan. So, from Docker Compose, nagra-run na yung container. Well, actually, kung mapansin nyo dito, may database container. Pero nung Docker PS ako, hindi siya nagra-run. Kasi kailangan ng environment variables na kailangan mag-supply ng environment variables like root password and MySQL user password dun sa MySQL na image. Hindi ko pa siya ginagawa kaya nag-error siya. Pero if pinasa ko yung env files properly, it should come up here then. Okay. So, how to start with Docker? A simple PHP app demo. Well, yung pag-install ng Docker, install Ubuntu. So, much better, punta na lang kayo sa for Linux, I often refer to DigitalOcean instructions. DigitalOcean not only creates good cloud servers, they also have good documentation. So, I think pina-follow ko lang to since I'm using Elementary OS 5, which is based on Ubuntu 18. So, lagyan natin siya dun sa slide. Kung for Windows naman, instructions din dyan. Ay, ano bang sinesearch ko? So, installing Docker for Windows. Instructions naman kay Docker, kaso thing with Windows is medyo mas maraming effort or magic na kailangan gawin para makapag-run ng Docker containers. It's doable, pero if you can start learning Linux, if you're in web development, might as well start with Ubuntu or Mint or something, Elementary OS. Pero kung wala namang impact sa career mo, hindi ka naman magde-dev, maybe you can try Windows. I don't have much experience running Docker on Windows kasi medyo years na rin mula nung huli ako nag-work with Windows. Nowadays, I just use Windows when playing games. Some games lang, kasi yung some games nag-run. Some games like Dota 2, it runs on Ubuntu. Kaya nag-survive ako kay Elementary OS na matagal. Okay. So, next is to create a Docker file. So, yung suggestion ko nga kanina, if hindi pa familiar, you can just get Docker files from GitHub. At the end of these slides, update ko siya, then post namin dun sa page along with a GitHub repository kung saan nyo pwedeng i-pull tong demo na to. Yan. Sabihin natin meron na tayong Docker file like this. Kailangan lang natin balikan yung command. So, Docker build PHP 7 PHP image demo. Palitan ko yung name. Docker build PHP image demo. Docker image ls. May error pala ako. Edit natin yung Docker file. Alisin natin itong mga composer stuff. Actually, alisin muna natin din to. Hindi pa naman yung... For this example, hindi pa to kailangan. Well, yung MariaDB, yung MySQL MariaDB client, lagyan na natin. Sige. Let's try this. PHP image demo. Okay. Na lang din muna natin siya. Get update lang naman yung solution doon. So yung important line dito is yung copy. So it means relative to the directory kung nasaan si Docker file, makita niya may index.php dyan. Ika-copy natin lahat ng file content sa loob ni HTML. Pero kung ayaw mong kunin yung lahat ng file ng directory, you can do one by one like this. Yeah. So, ikapa natin si index.php papunta dito sa var www.html na directory sa loob ng image. Ngayon dito na-reference ko yung var www.html para siya yung gamiting web directory ng built-in web server. So, Docker build. Again, hindi kailangan nandun ka sa same directory kung nasan yung Docker file. Wrong spelling. Kailangan natin yung entry point. Entry point. Hindi pala nag-exist to. Inalis natin. Kasi nalimutan natin. Hindi pa natin kailangan. So, ito lang yung itsura ng ating very bare na Docker file. Nag-copy lang tayo ng isang file at nag-run ng built-in na web server. Yan, so, tag na siya as PHP image demo latest. So, pag nag-docker image ls ako, nandun siya, docker image demo. Okay. And then, okay, so meron na tayong image. Next, we will launch a container. And we do docker run --name php container demo --p. I-bind natin yung port 8081 ng desktop ko dun sa 8080 ng container ng container, and image name to use is php image demo latest. Well, pag na running na yan kapag ganyan, so huwag ko lang i-close tong terminal window na to kasi hindi ko siya nilagay sa background. So pag nag-docker container ls ako, makita ko dapat siya. Yung pangalan niya is PHP container demo and it's running on port 8081. So pag tinry natin si port localhost, nandun siya. Or yung iba, ayaw nila ng 000, they use localhost, or you can use 127.0.0.1 para pares lang yung tatlo na yun. Pero point is, nandun na, running na yung ating app. Then, so, build the image, create a container from the image. So, nagawa na natin yan. And then, push the image to a container registry. Ngayon, container registry, if gumagawa ka lang ng mga hindi confidential na demo apps, I think pwede kang gumawa ng account dito, free account kay Docker Hub. Tapos, i-push dito yung image mo. Kaso that would be public. Same how GitHub used to work years ago. Ngayon, pero kung ayaw mo naman mag-push dito, pwede mo na lang siyang source ng other images. For example, gusto mo ng MySQL na image, search ka lang dyan. So, ito yung official MySQL. And then you can pull this Docker image para pwede mo siyang i-run sa container sa local mo. Normally, on each page dito sa Docker Hub, may instructions naman. Basahin nyo na lang. Medyo na-sidetrack tayo. Gusto ko lang i-demo na, for example, if we do this, copy-paste natin to sa terminal natin, dito, then, you can launch a MySQL server. So, pwede tayo mag-testing ng mga query, then, i-stop yung container, i-delete siya. Malinis pa rin yung ating laptop. Then, pero sige. Demo. If you want to have private Docker registries, you can create an account at GitLab. Yung repository nila may kasamang private container registry. And projects are private, so walang makakita niyan. Or you can create self-hosted Docker registry. Yung mga instructions naman si Docker kung gusto mong gumawa ng sarili mong registry. May existing Docker image din for that. It's named registry. So for this example, ngayon bakit pala natin gustong i-push yung image natin sa registry? Ito kailangan to kapag nagde-deploy na tayo to production. Or nag-share tayo ng image sa teammates natin. Kasi pwedeng i-build ko na sa laptop ko yung image, i-push ko sa registry, tapos kapag magde-deploy, ipo-pull nila na lang from this registry. Di na nila kailangan mag-build. Kasi may concept ng build once, deploy and test anywhere. So kapag binild na natin one time yung image, yung exact same image na yun, yung isasalang sa series of tests, unit tests, acceptance tests, manual tests ng QA, and other tests pa, syntactic tests, security tests. Then yung exact same image, kapag pumasa, siya yung gagamitin sa production. Para sure tayo na kung ano yung tinest, yun yung gumana, siya yung tatakbo sa production. Ngayon, when you want to have your images pushed here, kailangan lang part nung name ng Docker image, yung domain name ng project. So, for example, pag kinopy natin to, ito yung magiging name ng image. Si registry.gitlab.com / yung group name ko, which is sidegig / Docker PHP demo. Pag binild ko yan, well, nag-build lang din siya katulad ng image kanina, and I just need to run docker push and this image, then alam na niya kagad kung saan siya pupunta, which is kay registry.gitlab.com / sidegig / Docker PHP demo. Well, normally manghihingi muna yan ng Docker login. So, ilalagay niyo lang yung GitLab username and password niyo. Hindi na siya lumabas ngayon kasi nakasetup na yung sa akin. Pero pag nanghingi siya, just give your GitLab username and password. So pushing na siya. Pushing. 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 Push, 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 push. Tagal mag-push. Build lang din siya. So, na-push na siya. Ito na siya. With one tag, yung latest. Yung latest na tag, automatic na append yan for pag nagre-rebuild ka ng images with same name. Hindi na natin tatakal ngayon yung tags. So, let's just stick with latest for now. So, ganun din siya kapag ipupull mo yung image, kunyari nasa ibang dev ka, so mo i-pull yung image na pinush ng teammate mo or lilipat ka from your laptop to desktop, pwede mong i-docker pull lang yan along with that same name that you used to push. Pero pag nag-docker pull tayo dito, well, mukha lang siya nag-pull pero actually hindi kasi existing yan dito sa atin. Dito naman siya talaga. Okay, so hindi natin dinaanan yung install Docker, but we have created a Docker file. We built an image based on that Docker file and we created a container from that image, and then we pushed that image to a container registry. So additional tools, syempre yung iba hirap, well, karamihan naman medyo hirap mag-umpisa sa terminal kasi wala tayong clickable GUI, tapos wala tayong easy mapping kung ano yung mga bagay-bagay dun sa Docker container ecosystem. So for that, you can use Portainer. Portainer actually runs as a container din. Pero gamit siya, pwede nyo ma-view yung mga